All right, quiet on the shit, everyone. Quiet on the shit. Quiet. Quiet on the shit.
Pussy.
Say it faster.
Pussy.
Okay.
Pussy.
Okay. I think we're good. We're doing good. Yeah.
Pussy's just such a sloshy word, you know what
Slosh. I just thought of like, you know how the roads get like
Yeah.
after it snows.
Yeah, it just
and I thought of a
sounds,
pussy that looked like that, and
Oh,
then I was
well,
like,
not like that.
oh.
No. I'm just talking about like it sounds. It's a wet word, you know.
I mean,
It just
pussy.
sounds-
I mean, maybe that's the word.
When last we left off, the two of you had finished your conversation with Duke Gregor Traus. And you had determined that you're probably going to prioritize the Sunken Temple case, the investigation of the Sunken Temple in Riverside in the Undercity. And you had begun heading towards your house. So, is there anything you'd like to do before you arrive at your house?
I would like to stop and get more food.
Okay. Where would you like to stop to get more food? There's many varieties of food. There are, various Scarlasian dishes, which are much more, probably meat and bread based, as there's a lot of grains and a lot of livestock. And then there's also still Scandinavian food.
There's no food at the house. We might as well just go like grocery shopping for a second.
Okay, so that would probably be the Prisma Market then, which is a grocery sort of, kind of like a farmer's market that is held bi-daily, so like every other day in the Duke's Quarter. It's really cool because it takes place in this little stone kind of arched structure, and the top of that whole structure is stained glass. And so that various colors of stained glass, and the light shines through and creates all these different beautiful colors over all the food and all the different stalls.
You like
and
stained glass.
all of these different,
like stained glass.
all these different people with all the different stalls and goods go there and hawk their wares there. It's sort of the more upper class kind of market opposed to like what you'd find in Lowtown.
Dude, it's been 10 days. She's having some weird cravings. Aeleanor just kind of looks at Angelo and, so it's been 10 days. There wasn't really food in the house before, and I'm sure that any food there was is certainly now not edible. Do you want anything?
Yeah, I could go for a nice meal. I could pick up some ingredients for something that I learned when I was at sea as well.
Oh, thank God you know how to cook.
Oh, well, yes. I have something that could be a little easy on the stomach. I can make it with a lighter broth. It could be very delicious.
Let's do it. Tell me what you need. Let's go.
And how much money do you have total?
That's a good question.
So remember,
Bones?
most of your house's funds are in solid capital. You don't really have a lot of liquid money to work with. Most of your funds are in various arcane items and nice, your house, your stable, those sorts of things. But you don't really have much money to work with.
Bones, I need to see my coin purse. How much is in it?
I'd say you probably have about 80 steel coins.
Oh, okay.
So
We're
not
grocery
not
shopping
a
on
ton.
Budget.
It's definitely less than any other noble would have. It's very considerably like, oh, right, we're at the bottom of the food chain right now.
So
We're
I
gonna
don't
have to
know.
put some stuff up.
I don't know the new currencies. What is gold supposed to be?
So gold is 10 steel. Steel is your base. So like steel is, you'll pay with steel for most things. Like when you bought the Groggenstadt, that was 1 steel each.
So I have 15.
So it's like a steel's kind of a dollar.
Oh, gold is just dailies. Okay.
Yeah, so gold is your 10 steel. It's like a $10 bill, basically. If you're gonna make a transaction for like a meal, it's probably gonna be 1 gold.
So I got like $80 right now.
Yeah, pretty much. And you know that this is kind of your Whole Foods equivalent. Like this is probably gonna be a little expensive. So you can probably get, maybe 2-3 good meals out of this.
Yeah, she just finds stuff to eat for today.
Yeah. Okay.
Like-
So you find stuff to make a nice little.
And alcohol.
Okay. So you finish shopping at the Prisma Market, and then what would you like to do?
We'll go home now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys head home, and on your way home, the city seems calm. It's not always a calm place. There's usually something going on, but right now everything just seems pretty easy. You don't really hear any commotion. You don't hear any gunshots from Lowtown, which is really surprising because you're very used to hearing flintlocks go off down there.
Yeah.
You don't hear any screaming. You don't hear any crying. As you're walking through the street, there's, a good number of people, but they all just seem to be heading towards places where they need to do things, There's a few people kind of stopping and talking at stalls or like outside of houses or whatever, but no one seems overly, talkative or anything like that. And the city itself is just tranquil would be a good word. Kind of peaceful in a really un-Griffondale kind of way. Especially with there being like a whole plague going on in Lowtown and stuff. And granted, I say the city. You recognize we're only talking about 1/4 of the city, the Duke's Quarter, which is definitely the most affluent part of the city. So the
Yeah.
people you're seeing walking around aren't wanting for anything anyway.
Yeah, Aeleanor basically, instead of sitting in the harness, she's actually just like on Bones' shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of like sitting. She feels very tall, which is not normal.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So you make.
Strange.
Yeah, it definitely is strange, and you don't actually hear any criers right now, which it's not always that you would hear a crier, but it's odd that there's like no one. Usually there's someone standing there at least like waiting to. Criers essentially, they don't only just yell out the news in Griffondale and in Sinestria, they also are sort of a source of information. You're meant to go to them to ask questions. They're supposed to have generally a good understanding of current events. And
Right.
You don't actually see any out on the streets. But you also know that with the advent of this new sort of news outlet, the people who make the Blue Pages, which are essentially like ye old newspaper, the criers have sort of been pushed a little out of their comfort zone and haven't really had the same kind of customer base, basically.
Interesting. Is there anyone selling Blue Pages on the street on our way home?
Yes. Walking on the way home, you see about 10 different people selling Blue Pages.
How much are they?
All of them look to be younger, sort of like teenage children, and then maybe like one older man. The Blue Pages one steal. You know that it's a daily sort of newspaper. It's named for it's these normal sort of parchments, but there's this blue sort of waxy kind of lining around the pages, and that's why they call them the Blue Pages. And yeah.
Hey, Angelo.
Mm-hmm.
Will you go buy me one of those?
What is it?
It's... I guess they kind of popped up after you left, but it's sort of like a town crier, but it's in word format. They print the news like it's a small book every single day.
Is it new? Every day?
Yeah, every day they have new books and new stories, and I haven't really looked at it, but I'm curious to see what they're saying about current events, especially since none of the town criers are around.
I'll check. I'll go get one. And I just walk over to one of the guys.
Okay. Yeah. You walk over to this smaller orcish teenager. He's got black hair that's like side parted, and then on the other side it's like braided back. And he's got green eyes. You recognize he must be some kind of, like mix, like not just orcish, as green's not usually an orcish eye color. And his skin is this tannish orange. And so as you walk up to him, he just kind of looks at you and he says, you want to buy a Blue Page?
Yes, I do.
Okay, that'll be one steal. And he reaches into this little satchel where he's got them all sort of setting there, and he
I have
pulls it out.
15 dailies.
That's
enough.
that's a lot. Yeah, he
But
says.
how?
He
That's
says
about
it'll be
150
1 steel.
How do I transfer this? Oh, I only have daily, so I'll just give him a. Do you have change?
For
daily.
for a daily, yeah.
Yes.
So he takes the daily from you. He completes the transaction very quickly, reaching into his pouch on the left side where he's got all of his change. Pulls
He
it
hands
out.
me.
He hands you 10 steel back, which you recognize is 1 steel more than what he owes you.
That's fine.
Yeah, and then he hands you the blue page and he says thanks.
So would I erase that? Hey, you're not very attentive, are you?
What? What do you
Like,
mean?
you don't pay attention.
Dude, I'm just here trying to sell these pages.
You don't like your job, do you?
He kind of like looks over, he pulls into his satchel, and he pulls out a piece of paper and he says, I am a proud member of the Blue Pages family. We here at the Blue Pages are proud to present you with the
Brilliant! Absolutely
necessary news that you, the people, deserve to hear. And then he puts it back. He says,
brilliant. That was phenomenal. Great.
Thanks. Yeah.
That is so depressing.
Is that all, sir?
Let me see. If you ever want a real job or something,
He pulls the page back out and flips it over to the backside where he says, I am a proud member of the Blue Pages family. I appreciate your offer, but we are well compensated and prosperous.
I just kind of do like
And he puts
this
it back in the...
and then cast a message. I'm like, are you being?
Fuck. What?
Hey, shh, it's okay.
He's looking around and he looks at you and he's
down.
like,
It's okay. It's okay.
you magic?
Yes, I do.
Fuck. Dude, stop!
Act normal. Act normal.
Stop doing it then!
No, act
It's
normal.
not normal!
Calm down. You are freaking out. Don't. No, shh. Listen.
I don't have a page for this!
Of course you don't have a page for this.
This wasn't part of the training.
Listen. Are you being watched or something? Why are you following these stupid pages?
What are
I
you
don't
talking
understand.
about? I'm doing my job, dude!
Yes, but
Ah,
do you want a better job?
yeah.
You can be honest here. No one can hear you. It's just me and you.
How are you doing this?
Just me and you. Okay?
This is so
Can you hear
weird.
me?
Dude, it's like ringing.
Oh my
In
god.
my
It's
head.
not ringing in your head.
Ah.
You are lying. Do not lie to me.
Do I see this happening?
Yeah, you've just been standing there the whole
Yeah,
time.
listen.
All of a sudden, this kid is just rubbing his face. His eyes are super wide. He's like pushing up against the wall.
Bones just like I have Bones like walk forward, me just sitting on his shoulder,
Listen, child.
and I'm just like, is everything okay?
Holy shit!
Everything's fine.
You're that. Oh.
Everything is fine. I am just trying to employ this man.
Oh, what does he do?
I don't know. But he apparently hates doing this.
He's just like paralyzed at this point. Like he's just hyperventilating. His eyes are super wide. He's just looking
It's
back
just
and forth
so
between the two of
disappointing.
you. He feels like he's about to like be killed or something. Like, you can see
Angelo,
he's just like
he's terrified of us.
Well, this is stupid
Let's
because
go.
whenever I walk here, this is the first orc I've seen in this entire city. And this is terrible.
What is your obsession
Because
with
I
orcs
lived
lately?
in Komonahar, and the orcs that I know walk with pride. They don't let anything, nothing they do is without passion. Everything they do with a sense of pride, you know?
Are you still messaging at this point?
No, I'm speaking out loud. They do
Okay.
with a sense of pride, and then they walk with their chest out. They don't care who's staring, because nothing can knock them down, you know? And
His demeanor kind of changes as you're talking, and there's like a little bit of like anger that starts to rise, and sort of mix with the rest of the emotion that was kind of built there. And he's just kind of like, dude, what are you even talking about? He's like, this isn't anything like Kumanahar. You can't compare this to Kumanahar. There are no orcs here from Kumanahar.
Yeah, Angelo, you can't
but
just.
you are here.
Yeah, I'm not from Kulmanahar. My grandpa was.
Angelo,
Don't you have a sense of pride in who you are, what you are?
What are you talking about? I sell freaking papers for noble dudes, noble Darasani dudes. I don't even.
Angelo!
But like I said, what?
We are going home.
Fine.
Please tell your employer we are terribly sorry we disrupted your day.
Yeah, kind of. I'm a little upset now. I don't know.
Don't be upset.
If you want to help, he reaches into his satchel again and pulls out this tiny little page that's like, it's like a little note card that's got the blue around it, and he hands it to you and he says, you can fill out this paper and send it back to the Blue Pages headquarters, and Marcuccio would be really, really proud if you use my name. My name's Zeb, and you can write that in there and tell him about your experience today.
What characters do you spell that with, Zeb?
Zek, Ek, Ba.
Alright. Come on, Angela.
If you ever want to learn more,
Learn?
then
Like about
you'll probably hear about me.
that?
About what?
No.
Oh no, not that. No.
No,
I'm talking
dude.
more about
No.
learn more of I'd say pride. You know, you should be proud of what you are. That's all I'm saying. And
Man, you're kind of an asshole.
what? No, I'm not.
Sorry, I wasn't supposed to say that. That's not on the cards. Alright, I'm
That's
gonna
a
go to
good
the
step.
bathroom.
You'll enjoy that, Mr. Zeb.
I have
Thank
bones.
you for enjoy your blue page or whatever.
Okay. I will
I-
be on my way.
Have Bones. I just telepathically communicate to Bones. Just grab Angelo and do not let him go.
Angelo, suddenly there is just a really, really cold sensation as something just grabs the back of your neck and just begins tightly like holding you and walking with you.
Yep. And we do
Just
that.
this vice grip.
I was just making a
We
very
do.
honest observation.
Tightens a little.
We do that until we get home.
I was
Okay.
just making an observation of what I saw. I did not even say anything that terrible.
Once we get inside, I shut the door.
Well,
Oh, go
once
inside.
you arrive home,
Oh, God.
there is a small wooden box on your doorstep. It's lined not with like gold, but it's kind of gilded with like maybe like a brass or a bronze or something, a sort of lesser metal. It's a very, very nice and official looking box. On the top of it, as you approach and sort of inspect it, is the seal of the nation of Stiltsgard.
What?
What would you like to do?
Bones, pick up the box.
Okay. Bones reaches down, still holding Angelo by the throat, kind of stretches out, and then reaches down and picks up the box in one hand and turns to you. And point, I guess it's like in his chest.
Yeah, oh, we go inside now.
Okay.
Don't you want to look inside the box, but through your magic eyes? I wouldn't open it.
I will in a moment, brother. I just need to pee inside.
Okay.
And how did you get those magic eyes? Where did you learn this one? I never learned this one yet.
Be inside. I shut the door. Angelo,
I never could get it right whenever I was in the garden.
shut up for a moment.
Yes.
He said he works for Darasani.
Yes, I hear this.
There is a Darasani gang in Lowtown.
Really?
You were trying to recruit someone that they own.
How do they own him? They don't own this man. They only employ him.
You cannot just go up to people, and there is a lot we need to talk about. But first, I have Bones set the box down. I need to check for something.
Okay.
And I walk through the mirror in the living room.
You just watch as she just walked through the mirror, which you're aware of the ritual room, but it kind of never gets old watching that kind of magic at work.
It's like water.
Okay. You walk through the mirror into the ritual room. with Bones holding the case. Well, Bones walks to the mirror, but yeah.
Bones, go put the case over there. And then I kind of pop my head up. Well, come on. And then as soon as my head goes back behind the mirror, I just like look at the mirror and I'm like, if he is not a Von Rocked, he is not allowed in.
Ooh.
And then I stand back.
Okay.
And I wait for
So as
Angelo
you
to walk through the mirror.
as you sort of modify and reinforce the previous incantation, you begin to head towards the mirror.
Yeah.
Okay. He heads towards the mirror, and he steps through.
Wait a minute. Do I step through? What about the other guy?
You step through.
I step through.
Mhm.
I know, but he's on my shoulder.
So the other guy does not accompany you. As you step through, you realize that he's not there. However, you do know that if you are in the room, you can summon things to the room. That's one of the flaws of the ritual, is that if someone were to like teleport into the room, like if they knew the room existed, knew its coordinates spatially, and could teleport into it, they could then teleport something else in.
Oh, wait.
Because it's just a demi-plane.
I just kind of, now that I'm in there, I'm like, oh. And snap my
Yeah.
finger.
And as he snaps, there is a noticeable sort of gust of wind. Where are you summoning it?
On my shoulder.
As just like from behind him, just this, and you're like kind of taken aback by it for a second. You recognize it's an inherently magical quality of a typically some sort of convocation.
Well, you're not a glass man, so that's good.
What is that?
A glass man is a type of fae. I encountered my first one about 6 months ago on a mission with Father.
But what do they do?
They take on the form of people you know. And they kill them.
But you don't have to be a glass man to do that.
You have to be a Von Rocked to walk through that mirror. And for some reason, you really do have significant memory loss, brother. You don't remember Glassmen when only 6 months ago, that's what killed my best friend. You don't remember that I was cursed 4 years ago and lost complete function of one of my limbs. You don't remember any of the noble families, some of which we significantly interacted with in our childhood.
No, I remember.
No, you don't. You don't remember that there are gangs, and simply approaching someone and asking them to be part of our family can literally cause a war. You didn't remember Arana, and you insulted her in the streets.
No, I remembered her. I was just being a little silly. It is
Well, you
how
need
me
to-
and her interact. It's fine.
No,
We've always been like that.
it's not how she is anymore.
Yeah,
You need
not
to...
that much has changed. It's only been what, like 4 years?
Brother, she is the head of her household at this point. Her mother is retiring. She is the top, most sought-after female in Griffondale. She runs the Velvet Vixen, and you just publicly denied her in front of
No.
hundreds of people
Wait,
in the
there was
street.
hundreds?
In the street? Who knows who heard? While these things seem small and insignificant to someone like Arana, it can damage her reputation. You could have embarrassed her to the point that she lost customers.
Okay. I didn't tell you where I've been. I haven't told you where I've been.
No, you haven't.
So I'll tell you a little bit of what I've been doing. I'm not used... It's not to say I'll never be. It's only going to take me maybe about a week to really get used to things. And, we'll say, readjust myself to properly be a noble. You know, it only takes small amounts of times for someone like me. But I've been... After my academy, you know, when I was supposed to come home, that span of time, I spent a very long time at sea. But I was not working for a cargo ship, no. May or may not have been a pirate this many years.
Wait. Wait.
Now, if we're talking to a noble, no, I've just been, I've just been working cargo from Komanaha to Ameria. Oh, yes, we've run into pirates, but, nothing too serious. But if we're talking just me and you, no, I was the pirate. That was me.
Why?
Well...
Like, that's cool, but why?
Well, you see, it wasn't necessarily a choice, you see. Because after I graduated the academy I will not talk about right now, you see, I
know you weren't training to be a monk.
Oh, did I say academy? I meant to say monastery. Shit. That's what gave it away, obviously. Oh, shit. Academy, monastery, whatever we call it. I used to call it the
Monastery.
monastery, yes. Anyway, so I'm coming back, right, and I'm just dressed up in my, traditional garbs, and I'm sitting amongst this ship, which I just thought was going to take me home. But no, instead, these men, they call themselves the Nameless, you see. And all of a sudden, they're like, "Oh, you are captured now. You are captive." And I was like, "Oh, I see. But why?" And then they kind of, just to keep it short, one thing led to another. I ended up joining them because they had better use of my services that way. And you know what? I made some pretty good friends and got to travel the world. So honestly, it was a win-win. And then I didn't have to come back here. So it was really nice because honestly, I wasn't really ready to come back here. Honestly, I did not know how I was going to talk to Father, and settle things. And also, there was a lot of fuck shit going on over there. So, I just settled with, why charge headfirst into your problems? Instead, just sail halfway across the world and, do fun things like get gold, lay in bed with many people, do drugs, learn more about my magic. Or, yeah, but...
You could have done all of that here.
No, it's different though. Because here you walk around with, I would have been one of the people maybe walking around with a sense of entitlement, you see. Over here, nobody cares where you are from, what you were doing, who you were. They only care about who you become then and there, and what you do on the ship, And it's different. It was a way for me to escape responsibility and take on just something better, something more freeing. And my time out there, it really, I don't know. I made people that are friends, almost family out there. These people will always be with me. And I really appreciate what they're able to do for me. I was about to go out to war with them before I came here.
Do you want to go back?
Every ounce of me wishes that I could be there now, saving the lives of those closest to me, making sure that they are okay and make it out okay, because they're capable men, but it's just, I don't know. I do miss them, even though I have only been gone not even that long, but already it feels weird just walking around and not even being able to smell the sea. I do miss it, and I missed what we were going to do. I don't know if I told you, but I met the sorceress. I actually met her. She's a beautiful woman, first of all. An orc, right? Beautiful. But that aside, just the energy that comes out of her, it makes you want to do better than what you are, It makes you forget any bad thing that you've done, and you just drop it, and you feel like if you follow her light, it will only lead you to, I don't want to say repentance, or I don't know, but it's the best way to describe it is awesome. That is what she is. And we were getting attacked, and she just came in. Didn't even blink an eye, just ended it like that. She saw me for what I am, and didn't even think anything of it. She just asked me to help. And she put so much trust in me, someone she didn't even know. you know? But at the same time, she didn't know me. She just met, but she also knew everything about me. And my family, she gave us a chance to redeem what we were, actually not just be a bunch of people floating on a ship, and instead actually being people to change the course of the very world around us. And I don't know, yeah, if I could have been a part of that legend, yes, you know I would be. That doesn't just happen. But I need to be here. And I actually talked to her about this, and
I don't want you to feel like you owe me or Father anything. If you want to go, you can go. I don't want you to feel like you have to be here. I want you to be happy, brother. I always have, and you're the only family I have left now. So that happiness means even more to me now than it did.
if I were to go back, I'm making it sound like it's a lot more glamorous than it is. It's not, but, and as much, as amazing as it would be to be a part of something so big, at the same time, it's not what I should do. Because at the end of the day, me still doing that, I'm still running. And even if it's in a very good direction, something that, you know, benefits everyone, I'm still running. And I think that does not just myself a disservice, but it just brings the people that are closest to me a disservice. It's as if I'm spitting in the grave almost, which I don't want to do because I never hated our father or anything, you know. Even the last time we were together, we fought. I don't think he deserves that kind of disrespect from me. So, I don't know.
Well, if you're gonna stay, what the Duke said about me being responsible for liaisons and about you acting like a noble, I can tell you don't quite remember what it's like to live here, and I'll do my best to help you without getting angry like I did earlier. I'm sorry I raised my voice at you. I'm just really upset that there are people who think I'm the one who killed him. I guess.
No, you did not.
No, and
That's ridiculous.
I don't understand why anyone would think that. But beyond the point,
They have to. It's a part of their job.
we have to be careful now, more than ever. Our family is vulnerable. It's like he said, nobles are going to be vying for our favor. Some of them may even be trying to destroy our entire family. I still don't know if that night I was supposed to die too. And I should have. But luckily, Bones was able to. I need to show you what happened for you to understand, I think. I thought the Duke would want to know my side of the story, but apparently my side of the story isn't important enough. Which is strange, because I'm the only one who saw it. Like, why? I don't understand why he doesn't want the details I have.
Well, show me this and show me why I made the right decision. Because I have a feeling that whatever you show me is only going to reaffirm why I'm here now and not out there.
And I'm glad you're here because I don't think I can do this on my own. And she just grabs your hand and pulls you onto a teleportation circle that is off to the kind of side of the room. And I'm going to have us teleport into the dream room without Bones. I'm going to leave Bones in the ritual room.
I'll leave Kirameku out there too. But I want Kirameku to be like right on Bones.
Okay. Yeah, still
that's
invisible.
gonna go well.
So that's still just an unknown, basically. But yeah, you leave him there, and you step onto the teleporter, and as you do, you just think that you know, want to activate it, and suddenly there's just this warmth rushes over you very quickly, as if the sun is just hitting you from all angles, and then it's gone, and suddenly everything is cold, and you find yourself in this. It's a hard to describe place because it's less of a physical place and more of a mental place.
It's a plane inside a plane. Inside a plane.
It is a manifestation of blank thoughts. You are in what you could assume, what you could rationalize as a dully lit room. But there are no walls. It is this space with this rolling, sort of thick fog, but it's not a literal moisture fog. It's more of a mental fog, sort of a obscuration of whatever lies beyond it. And you know that your thoughts can essentially manifest this fog in various ways to create something akin to holograms and basically show what you are thinking in this moment.
I don't know if Father ever showed you this, but we lovingly call it the dream room. And I think in a few minutes you're going to understand why. Go.
He never did show me, did he? Yeah.
No. You were never the one he was teaching Arcana to.
Yeah.
Go and stand in the center of the room.
Okay.
She just kind of like disappears into the fog, and the room gets very dark. And you start hearing her voice kind of like all around you as she is narrating what you begin to see. I suppose 10 days ago is the only place to start. It was a normal day. Father and I didn't have any investigations in our queue, not any that were active. There was a party that night for a new noble being introduced to the city, and I could not bring myself to get ready to go. The last party I went to was for the Marquis Coliconcella, and it went terribly wrong. I was weak and emotional, and I told Father that I wasn't going to go. And he told me he didn't really want to go either, and he would stay with me. So we kept the shop open late that night, and we were up on the second floor researching bones, actually, trying to figure out anything about my curses, if they have any effect on the Eidolon, and what he actually is. I told you earlier today that he's been acting more independently than an Eidolon should, and we've known that from the beginning, but it's gotten to the point that some of my orders he listens to, but he adds his own creative thought to it. And you begin to see the shop, the second floor of the shop, this like sort of like pseudo-ritual room with lots of jars and like specimens and bones and like a table and like runes on the floor. And her and Father are kind of sitting in the middle of the floor with a bunch of papers spread out. It was right after the sunset, I think. We heard a really, really loud knock downstairs. I went downstairs, and you see her grab her cane and start making her way downstairs to go see who it was. Perhaps it would be a new client, or perhaps it was a guard asking why we weren't in attendance. I don't know what I thought in that moment, but I opened the door, and we see the door open. I got a glimpse of a man with a bald head. And you see that man. And then there was just fire everywhere. And the door slammed shut, and the windows shut, and everything locked. The fire acted sentiently, and you watch as the fire moves across the floor with purpose and starts going up the stairs.
Was this not an eidolon? Or maybe an elemental of some sort?
I've never seen an eidolon or an elemental like this. I followed it upstairs as quickly as I could, but the door was locked when I got back up to the top of the stairs. I tried to get in the room, and you see her like using her cane to like try and like pound the door in and like trying to use like spells and stuff, and like the door is not opening at all. And I thought I heard Father talking, and then he was just screaming.
Our father, he's the arcane investigator, correct? So,
And not even he was able to stop it.
no. Did he ever have any journals or anything?
I haven't looked through his office, but knowing Father, he didn't really write things down like that. He kind of just kept everything in his head.
Well, you do know that he did write the books.
I mean, he wrote his his books on his adventures, but he hasn't written one since Mom died.
I think the answers that we seek might be in those books. Maybe even hidden, knowing him, what he likes to do. But maybe he was onto something, pissed some of the wrong people off, and then
We were on to a lot of things, brother. Our investigations were inconclusive, but
he should have watched.
anyway, when the screaming stopped, the fire had already engulfed the entire building. I couldn't find a way out, and the smoke was too thick to get a few words out before I would begin coughing, so I couldn't cast. I remember Bones smashing through the window, and you see like there's like fire all around you now, and like you hear like glass shattering. And he picked me up and he jumped out the window with me. And he got me out and he put the fire out on my clothes, and I remember looking at the flames and thinking I just wanted it to stop. I don't really know how to describe this next part. All I remember is thinking I want the fire to stop and I want him to be okay. And then I started moving towards the fire, and Bones grabbed my arm, and I told him to let go of me, and he tightened his grip and yanked me back. And I ordered him to let go of me, and he still didn't. And then something just snapped. And I took my knife and I started cutting my arms. And you see on her arms there's like all these like still healing like cuts, like deep. And looks like it's some kind of language.
Do you mind?
Yeah.
As you look,
Oh shit.
Does it look familiar?
you don't know this language. You've never known this language.
I've never known the language.
But you can read it.
What?
As you look and you read the language, the runes affixed to her flesh, these are no runes anyone should know. These are no runes that exist in this plane. These are alien etchings. The same idea as the etchings you have used, but sort of a different species, if that makes sense. Like, multiple written languages for the same spoken language. And so essentially, as you look at this, it's sort of a variant dialect of what you've used and still don't really know.
What's this done? It looks like self-mutilation in a weird language is a part of the family now. It must be a family tradition.
What do you mean?
I can read what's on your arm. I know what that says.
Really? What does it say? This could give us some kind of answer.
Well, I'm not gonna go into specifics on how I can read it, but I just can, right?
Yeah.
That's a story for a later date, but it says empty.
That is where we're going to end the episode.